Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. Issues at hand.
Oh yes, good morning once again, and thank you for keeping it to Church of Uganda Family TV. This is now Issues at Hand, and just a reminder, you know that every Friday we always have someone coming in from the police forces, because we do have that strong partnership, and today that's of course the direction we shall be taking. Now you could be aware, or you could have seen even in your local areas, that here and there was election violence. We saw what was happening, irregularities here and there that did happen, but we shall take a look at that in a broader way. But also we shall be able to discuss about the general crime, and of course remember we're heading into this period of time where the general elections, and how safe are we going to be is the assurance we shall be getting in here from the Superintendent of Police, Lule Patrick, who is the regional community liaison officer for Kampala Metropolitan East. And I want to appreciate you for blessing us this morning and greet you.
Good morning, Luke. As you have said, I'm Lule Patrick. I'm Superintendent of Police. I'm the Regional Community Liaisons Officer of Kampala Metropolitan. It is south, not east, as earlier on said. I'm happy to be here, and also I would like to greet our viewers out there. Yes, welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. And now you could be aware as well, just like I had started with, a number of things did happen during the primaries and all those things. So if you can give us an overview of the place you overlook, how was the situation in that regard? That is Kampala Metropolitan South.
First, generally, when we talk of Kampala Metropolitan South, we are talking of the areas of CPS right here where we are. We are talking of Kabalagala. We talk of Katwe, Kajansi, Nsanji, Entebbe, and Natete. Also, Parliament is another division which falls under Kampala Metropolitan South. So generally those are 8 divisions. What I could personally say about with all the 8 divisions, we have gone through the normal policing and the past elections, if I'm to talk about the past NRM primaries and among other elections as well, because already the Electoral Commission roadmap is underway, and special interest groups are being elected. They are generally calm and very, very much normal. And in that line, I'd like to appreciate the communities out there, because as we talk right now, if we could maintain the calmness and they have exhibited during these elections, I think we shall be good to go for any other elections, because elections, this is just temporary, and I know there's life even after the elections. So always I call upon the communities not to get hyped because of these mayor elections. They should maintain the calmness, more especially as we go towards those hot elections, and that is the parliamentary and the presidential elections, the general elections. Yes.
Very interesting. And so with what happened, what do you think triggers election violence based on maybe the people or the communities you've interacted with?
First, I would like to inform you that with us as the community liaisons officers, we are meant to come and sensitize the communities. And the exact question you have asked, what could be the problem? The problem does, at times people come up and say it was out because of security that he brought the violence into this, but we cannot again come as law enforcers and bring violence. Because always we come to ensure that there is peace, and peace must prevail. So what always brings all of this is that hyperness of more especially the youth. They take at times these elections personal. You realize that a person he has a person he supports, and to him he believes that maybe if this person doesn't go through, it's the end of the world, which is really, really very wrong. And we have always engaged these youth that as they come into these elections, let them be maintain the calmness. Even if don't come with all that belief that the person I'm supporting, this is an election. He has or she has to go through automatically, because this is an election whereby you're eligible to lose, and there's nothing that needs that confrontation. So I at times when we are looking at these elections, we realize that the candidates themselves, they have a role, and when the candidate cannot calm down his or her supporters, you find that it can all get into mess. Okay. So we call upon also the candidates to play their role during the elections, more especially to their supporters, because whenever you talk to them and advise them that this is an election, this is not war, this is an election that is going to come and it will pass. So always we advise the candidates to keep on engaging their supporters, not to incite. You realize that some of the candidates, at the end of the day, instead of them canvassing for votes, again they come and incite, start talking, giving lies, to inciting that if we go into, for example, I hear of recent there are some who are saying of protest. We are yet to understand what it means. So this is an election. We're not going to go into a protest or what. Let us go into a peaceful election. Let us go through it, and then life will have to continue. Yes. Okay,
interesting. Actually, sometimes we see camps getting out of order. You have hit on it a little bit. What do you think is the role of these aspirants, these people who are of course supposed to be the big sayers in these camps, but end up keeping quiet? And that's how we even see violence in certain areas. What do you think they should be doing for their camps not to escalate?
Yeah, to me, I believe that the candidates themselves, they have to play a very, very big role, because whenever you find a candidate who is not violent, it's very hard to have a candidate who is not violent and then the supporters turn violent, because in most cases, like we are going into, as we talk right now, they are going to engage the communities, more especially these political parties. They are going to go into consultative meetings with the communities. So you realize that if we start to go into these consultative meetings with violence, then the community will also turn violent. So what I expect of a candidate, before any other thing, before you talk of what you are going to do for the electorates, first call for peace. First call for peace. To tell these voters that first let us maintain peace, because we shall not even, if this electoral process turns violent, we cannot go into a peaceful election. That means even the election itself can fail. That when you start with advising the electorates to be calm and peaceful, then that means automatically we shall have to have a peaceful election. So before you give your agenda to the community or to the voters, talk about peace. How do we have a peaceful election? Because they all know. The youth, we know they are grieved, they have issues, but there's no way their issues can be handled using violence. Violence brings a lot. We have seen countries around us which have gone into elections and they have turned violent, and it's very nasty. It's very nasty. So we believe that let us all have the guts to come out and preach peace to these communities. This is an election, it's not a fight.
Okay, very interesting. And how prepared is the police, and specifically community liaison officers in regards to preventing and also respond to violence related to elections?
As we talk right now, with us, the police, we are ready, and in most cases, policing the election has 3 phases. We have already begun with first phase, that's the pre-election period. We shall have the election itself, then the post-election. So this is the phase that takes some quite a little bit of time. The pre-election, as we prepare, we shall have the campaigns, then we go into the elections, then we shall have after the post-elections. As I talk, we are very much prepared, and as I have told you, we have already tried out, because we have policed some of the party elections that have been ongoing and are still ongoing. And as I earlier on mentioned, that also the Electoral Commission itself, it has elections that are ongoing of special interest groups, youth groups, among others. So all these are being policed by us, and we feel that what we need is to advise the community out there, always to remain calm as we do our work, because to us, ours is to see that we are professional and always to be neutral. There is a tendency that people believe that police, we always have a side, we take sides, which is not true. Of course, at heart, maybe somebody could be supporting someone or what, but as a force, we are supposed to be neutral and act professionally.
Okay.
So in that process, we are able to watch early signs, because when you are not neutral, that means you will be sidelined. You are not even able to know that this can happen, because you'll be also facing your own direction. But when you are neutral, you are able to know if this happens, it can bleed this one. Actually, as the security officers, we play a major role into the election process, because if we are seen to be sidelined, you will find that the community will also come and say, if the security, you are not helping here, let us also now want to. So ours is to ensure that we play a neutral role and maintain professionalism. As in that process, we are able to view any violent sign that could come along.
Okay.
So we are coordinating with the election officials, and we know that we are set to go to have a very successful election.
Okay, very interesting. And maybe when we talk of KMP South, are there hotspots where we always be like, that place could always have some violence during such a period of time, and how are you ready to contain such places this time around?
Generally, we have, because as I told you that South has the CBD, the city center itself, and in most cases you realize that the city center has a very big population, more especially during the day. It has a population of over 2 million. So during these elections, it's very, very, very difficult, because people have other businesses they are doing, and remember, we shall also have to engage into the electoral processes. So you will find that interaction of people doing their business and the electoral process, it brings, it causes a lot of commotion.
Yes.
And it's out of that at times that will bleed also violence, because there are some people who are just looking at their own business, and as a person is doing his own business, and these are others who are into the electoral process, there is some interference, because at times there are people who believe that those who are doing their own business and are not so much concerned with the election process, they have a feel that they are letting them down. So you find a person who has come on to maybe is campaigning, he comes into a market, he wants to talk to the communities are saying, with us, we are doing our own business, we don't want to go into the election hearing, we don't want your interference. Now, it's out of that process. So we are looking at most of these public areas, the tax areas and the market areas. I know we shall be always guided because the force has that tendency. Whenever we realize that there could be a major problem, we always come up and guide on how people could do, more especially how the campaigns can go on and also business can go on. Because with the Kampala, that is the main issue, because we really don't want the state center to go into anything like violence. So whenever in that line we call upon the candidates and other people who are into the electoral process, that whenever they are guided, let them also go by the guidance, because we shall always maybe have road cards, please let us not go into these areas, let us avoid these congested areas, and that's where at times we get issues. Some people think that we are denying them access to their community electorates, which is not the case, because with us as police, we have an early warning, and when we realize that something can happen, then we come in and guide, but not to stop someone. And when we guide, we really expect people to comply. If we have guided, please let us avoid these areas, or let us not do this activity on this day. If you take it in good heart, it's not that we are being sidelined or what, but it's out of the professionalism and to ensure that the country is safe.
Interesting. And do you talk to do you engage these communities, majorly now like the business communities, since they could know, or they are supposed to know, what the repercussions can be in case there is violence around their communities? Yeah,
we have been engaging so much in the communities, and first I would like to assure you, however much we cannot we may not ascertain the situation as we talk, but I am very much sure that as security we are ready, and even if there are any sparks, I know we shall contain and maintain any kind of violence that could come along or come in. But before that, we have always come out and engaged the business communities, the traders, the market vendors, the tax touts, and we are always talking to them, because these are the communities we are policing, and if we sideline them and we don't come into, we talk to them, we don't want to have a surprise, probably in case there is violence. So we have talked to them, and I'm happy they are positive. In most of our engagements we have had with them, they are very, very much positive, and they are willing to work with the security forces to ensure that the process is safe.
Okay, very interesting. And when it comes to the political actors and supporters themselves, what information, majorly now supporters, because we have briefly spoken about the actors. So how about the supporters? What is the message you're sending out there, and in what formats? Yes, we could be having this one right now of engaging them, but how else are we making sure that we engage these people? Because now the actors have an upper hand. They're having rallies all over here and there. What format are you using as police to reach out to them, not to get involved in these violence acts and all that?
And to me, I believe the government, as it said, because when we look at most of the actors are the youth, and between some given age, and the government has so much come up with a lot of programs to engage them, because I believe that if somebody is engaged somewhere and is doing some work, he'll give less time into just moving alongside the candidates, you see. So let the candidates use also scientific methods. We have scientific methods of reaching out to the community. So you should not necessarily come and bring me out of my workplace. So I believe some of the methods that have been put up, most of these youth have been engaged. There are a number of government programs that have been put up to ensure that they engage these youth, so that by the time we go into this electioneering process, they are not just being taken or swayed up by events. As if somebody, like I've seen, they have been supporting borders. You a border rider. You have been given a border. You want that's your business. So your business is riding a border. Again, I don't expect you. A candidate is just moving. You start now following blindly. So I expect you to be doing your business. If you are at a washing bay, keep at the washing bay. Don't again just be swayed up by events. Somebody is just moving, then you start following blindly. So I think government has tried so much to put up those projects, and I know most of the youth will be engaged this time around. We don't expect them to be engaging into just unnecessary movements with these candidates.
Okay.
And that at one point or at times, you see it deters this kind of criminality. Yeah.
Okay. And I remember in the Kawempe elections, there were so many questions being thrown at the police, at the involvement in all that kind of scandalous event. So what measures is the police now going to ensure this time around so that they can remain neutral and not be seen as part of what you had mentioned earlier, coming to control violence, but the public sees as you are gearing violence?
In most cases, we learn also some of these events are examples, and we learn out of them. So, given that example you said of Kawempe, there were a lot of lessons. There were a lot of lessons that were learned from that election, and we believe even after the election, we went back to the drawing board, and a lot was done because it was so much a big study to us, more especially the law enforcers, how we deploy, how we engage, and a lot of things, as you saw whatever that happened. So if it was a lesson and we have gone back to the drawing board, and we must learn from that lesson. So I believe that this time around, I don't expect incidences of that kind, maybe that happened given from any forces deployed. Yeah, because in most cases the police were in the lead of the security of the electoral process, and where there is any challenge, actually, we are to blame.
Okay.
So I want to assure you that we have had lessons, and everything is going to be rectified this time around.
Okay.
Yes.
Very interesting. Now, besides the election violence, there could be of course, there are other general crime out there, that's what we are going to be speaking about when we return from the short break. So I want to ask you to stay on. Just briefly, we talk of these commercials and return with more of this discussion.
Issues at hand. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. Issues at hand.
Oh yes, welcome back from that short break. Now we continue our discussion, and just like I said before we went for the break, besides the election violence, there are other crimes, and that's what we are going to be speaking about. And with me in studios is Superintendent of Police Lule Patrick, who is the Regional Community Liaison Officer for Kampala Metropolitan South, and he has been taking us through a number of things and also what you can do there as a person to avoid violence in elections and all that. And I believe there is still more to talk about, so please stay on as we continue bringing in this. Now, what could be other major crimes currently being committed aside of the election violence that we have been through?
Still, there are some other crimes. Actually, we have tried to cite within still the process. Like I can give an example of recent. You have been seeing what is termed as a gali. There's that term. I think there are some youth organized gangs that move in a team and they move on attacking people whom they find along the roadside or the streets or even within their shops. But we have strongly come up on that, and as I talk, we have arrested a number of them, and they are being prosecuted. First, I would like to ensure the youth that let us avoid joining these groups, because at least they know right now that many of their colleagues have been have been charged, and the prosecution is undergoing. So others, the community, we want to request you that whenever you are moving, first it is always personal safety, because to me we term it as neighborhood watch. So be suspicious. You don't just move anyhow. First, for example, if I am moving in this direction, there's no need of just carrying my phone like that. I've seen some people holding expensive phones, like you are carrying an iPhone which is worth 5 million, 4 million, but you are just exposing it. So that means you're exposing yourself to some of these. You are becoming a target.
You're calling them.
Yeah. So we have supposed to start with our personal security before we do any other thing. As you are moving, watch the neighbors. Who is moving alongside with you? Who is moving this side? Who is moving from behind? That one we always call it neighborhood watch, because if you are able to know and understand, then you are able to act. More especially, you can maybe move very fast, or you can move aside. But if you are just moving anyhow, you will be fall prey to some of these criminals. And before that, even back there in our communities where we stay, let us come up or form up WhatsApp groups, because I know currently the communication trend is so much on social media, and you are seeing that even news and what a lot it moves alongside social media. This may work maybe, but this may work for a certain class of people, because not all of us that we have smartphones, but at least I'm seeing more especially now in the urban areas. I'm talking about the people more especially that we police in these urban areas. They have at least capacity to have these modern phones. So I request you, if you are in a community, open up those social WhatsApp groups and keep on posting. They have always helped. I have an incident that happened in Busega the other week. They had a very good organized WhatsApp group, and within their community. It was a locality of about, it was a group of about 50 people to 60. And when one was coming back, he became suspicious.
Okay.
Then he just moved aside and he sent a WhatsApp. He communicated onto the group. Now most of these people who were awake managed to come up slowly, and so they could communicate on what. Then at the end of the day, they managed to arrest these attackers who had come to rob into one of their neighbors' home. Okay. So we are seeing these things. When we come out here and talk about them, some people may think that it is joking, but they are working. They are working. It happened, as I told you, in those areas of Usega. They arrested those people. Actually, unfortunately, when they were arrested again, they were lynched. And one of them, I think, died as was being taken to the what. So still we call upon you not again
to engage
so much. Into when you get these criminals, again, mob justice is not good.
Hey.
So we also call upon the communities always to come into these meetings we hold into their villages or their areas, because at times we find a challenge that some people have that tendency of I don't care. Security starts with you. When you have a tendency of I don't care, one day, one time it is going to come on you, and you will have challenges which may not really be good. There is another problem we are facing of recent, and it is growing steadily because of maybe the time we are into, that is cybercrime. A lot of crime is being committed still on these phones. Yes. We are urging people to use social media. Again, they are being abused online because many of these criminals also change the tactics. You will find that still it is on social media that they will send you messages, maybe that you are going to get a grant, and now people have been conned. People have been conned of amounts of money. So we urge you that as you are using these phones or you're using these modern technologies, still you have to be conscious, because as we talk, cybercrime is on the rise. Many of our land, I don't know, we are yet to find out whether it is these IT gurus who are learned, or it is any, because to me I believe that to be an IT expert, you should be a learned person. So I'm not so sure. I cannot say that they are the ones who are going on conning, but we for us ours is to alert the communities that cybercrime is on the increase. Yes. Then these are the normal day-to-day safety measures, like when you are driving, always try to put up your windscreens, try to because when you are in traffic, you never know. Not that there is insecurity within the country, but always when you take precaution, you are guarding yourself. You are not becoming a major target. But when you also expose yourself, then the chances are high that you become a target. Because with the criminality, we cannot say that it can be stopped to zero, because always there are some few gaps that come in here and there. So home security is very key. Having all the lights, if you have the capacity, you put up the cameras, you put up dogs. Those are the clearing the bushes around your homes. Let us not take most of these things lightly, because at times those unattended buildings, if they are within your localities, come up as a community, come up, talk to the local authorities. But more especially, what we urge people out there is when we become suspicious of a person into your community, report that person to the authorities. Because for us in security, we believe that these criminals, we stay with them. They don't come from heaven. We always stay with them. And they come from our communities, and they come and terrorize in these other areas. Even at times they will terrorize within your community. It happened in those areas of Nsanji, there was a gang that was terrorizing people within, not until we broke into it. And the people knew, you can imagine, because they were smoking opium in some house, and they could tell only that some of those, that gang, some of those gangsters, they were some children born within, but they were terrorizing. They are very, very locality. People would think, those are children of so and so what. But after we broke into the gang and we realized they had a house where they could keep stolen property, stolen phones. We found a lot of SIM cards with them. Now people are coming up. How about we have been seeing these boys and we have been they have been talking about it just within them, but they could not come up, not until we picked information and intelligence, and we went and disbanded the gang. Now the community is happy.
Wow.
It's very much happy, but they were keeping quiet for some time, and these boys were terrorizing them within their local area. So we request don't take anything lightly. However much you report or you talk about it with a neighbor, then through that we are able to get intelligence. But when you keep quiet, it becomes very, very hard for us.
Okay. Very interesting. And in most cases we see the young people getting involved also. Mostly we've seen even the recently concluded primaries, even the elections and all that. We see the young people much in them there. But also, even in crime, we see the youth so much engaged. Okay, they are part of that particular category in terrorizing people, just like you mentioned. But then, I am glad you mentioned the government efforts in making sure at least they are not idle at all. But then we believe there is a big role that to be played, starting from back in their families, in their homes. What do you think is the role of the parents, the role of the teachers, the role of religious leaders in shaping these young men and women not to become what they could end up becoming, unfortunately?
Actually, bringing up a person must be a collective effort. It must be a collective effort, and I believe that many people have left what they are supposed to do, more especially to do with parenting. I may not say many, because not that many youth are being involved into criminalities, because at times they also do whatever they can, but it comes at one point they fail or they give up, because you will find that most of these criminals are not that they were abandoned or they have no education. As I told you, that there are some even whom we believe that have gone into criminalities, and we believe they are educated at some level, like those that use cybercrime and what and the rest. So, but if we are to go back to these other stakeholders, I think they have tried to do their role as the leaders, local leaders, the church leaders, religious leaders. They have tried to play their role at one point or another, but you realize that at times some of these youth are taken up because of different issues. Like, for example, some engage in other issues like drug abuse, and at times, even if you are good at what capacity, you may not be able to bring back if this young man or girl, if he has gone into drug abuse, into alcoholism, into prostitution, not out of will, but maybe because of peer pressure. So you'll find these other people, the parents are trying a lot. I've ever had an example. I have a parent, is a well-to-do parent, but I tell you, he failed to the capacity of, at one time he called me, said, help me, I want my daughter, if it is possible, let her be detained at least, even if it is a week. If it is a week, I think she could maybe reform. Change. Then the good thing, I had an opportunity, I said, no, we shall not detain her, but you bring her, we shall talk to her. So we talked to the young girl. She was at the age of 17. But she had turned rowdy, she was moving with gangs, she was smoking opium. There are some other nanny, I just actually heard of them at that time, that they eat cookies which are toxicated. She was abusing alcohol. So she had, the parent had really felt he had tried to punish, and whenever he could punish, now the girl runs away from home. She goes for some time. Of course, she had been expelled from boarding schools several times. Whatever school she could go, she gets expelled because of her behavior.
Wow.
So the parent, and at times these younger under 18, you will find that when they come to report, we are not supposed to detain juveniles. So we don't charge them criminally.
Yes.
So the parent as if had given up. Then he was like, how can I have maybe detained, so that she could know that when I'm detained, she could reform. But good enough, she was brought to us, and we engaged. We had an engagement. Actually, I made a team, a community liaison officer, a child and family officer. We met with this girl. We talked to the girl. We said, you are going to be coming here daily for 5 days. We are not going to detain you, but we are going to be staying with you as we monitor. So it happened. And after the 5 days, we were very happy that because we could show her just what happens with these criminals. We could move her around the station, take her to the cells to see. She could sit and listen problems out there as we are handling. So in the process, it worked out, and she changed completely. The parents were very, very much happy. They were very much happy. They came and appreciated us a lot, because we could not believe that this could happen. Because at times the parent, as earlier on, he had thought that if this young girl is detained, maybe for some days she will reform. But at times we have also tried out that. But again, instead of the person reforming, again he gets other characters within. So always we have a way of handling. So I believe parents have tried, and they try, but we request that let us keep on engaging. You don't stop at any level, because even as the grown-ups, you'll find if you have parents or what, they will keep on advising you. Please don't do this, don't don't overspeed, don't do because general crime is wide. Because even if I drink and drive, it's also crime. I can lose my life, I can lose somebody's life. So there are other things that you can keep on advising. It's equally the same. We're supposed to advise these youth.
Okay. Well, maybe as we try to wind up, because time has started hitting us, how can citizens report crime without getting much involved? You did mention there that somehow, somewhere, when communities get together, yes, they can handle and arrest, but sometimes they go overboard and put some beating, which eventually brings to losses of life. But also in the elections, we are seeing some people, if they feel they are cheated, then the next thing to do is exchange blows. How can we contain such the person who is not involved in crime getting involved in crime again?
First and foremost, I would like to urge the community out there to use us, because with us as the police, the reason why we always come up here even to sensitize, the reason why we put on uniform, the reasons why you come out there to the communities, is to ensure that you are safe. So wherever you are and you feel you are grieved, don't go into paying back. Use the security structures, because we believe everywhere there are security structures. Like, take an example, if you are even at an election station, there is like a presiding officer who is now in charge of that. We have a polling constable around there. So if you feel like there is some cheating, there is don't go into fighting. First engage the presiding officer, tell him or her there is this problem, please can we rectify it. Then call in if there is an election constable, then you conference, sit and discuss about it. We don't understand this person. He has come and as if he wants to go into the voting line, but as if can we agree to have him or her out? Because you even find that this chaos starts with one person. Like, for example, we have been having lining up of the last period, but you are fighting about over two people. But even if you pull them out or you deduct them, they make no difference. But at times, but when you are given a big blow, you lose your eye. Why do you have to lose your eye? We always urge the community to handle issues maturely and through mutual understanding. Talk to each other, then conference and come up with the decisions that help positively, instead, because fighting has no way of helping in any way. Because if it was fighting, to some of us, we have even the guns, we have whatsoever, so we would be using those weapons or tools and then go and take over anything what we feel like taking over, but we cannot, because it is not the order of the day. We are always looking at peacemaking.
Wow, very interesting. I really want to appreciate you so much for the messages and information that you've delivered to the people out there, and I believe and strongly I believe that someone has gotten or picked one or two from the discussion. So I would request that you give us your parting shots or last remarks as we get out of here.
I would like to thank you, Luke, and also the management of Family TV, because whenever you give us this opportunity to come and really sensitize the communities out there, it is a very, very great opportunity. And we believe that the time you give in to us makes a great impact, because we cannot also go and reach out to everybody, but through use of such media, we are able to reach out to a number of people out there. So I request the communities, we are going into the electoral process. We have already actually started. We are into the pre-election process. Let us remain calm. Let us play our role. The religious leaders, let us also pray for this country, so that we go through this process peacefully, and then life continues even after the election. I know it's hard at times, but we believe for us as security, we are set and ready, and we shall go through it.
Wow, very interesting. Thank you so much. Superintendent of Police Lule Patrick, and he is the Regional Community Liaison Officer for Kampala Metropolitan, that is South. I want to appreciate you as well for joining us this morning. I truly believe that you have picked something, of course, not to be violent out there, how you can also be able to control crime or prevent crime in that regard, but majorly during this period of time. I want to appreciate you once again. My name is Luke Majumba. Please have a lovely day, and remember to be safe. It is a weekend.
Issues at hand